I'm the new Black Jake Gyllenhaal.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. I'm your brother, Old Guy, from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam and Viral Hip Hop News. It is a Friday. We are live, and you already know where you're at. You're in the building with the best, baby. Another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast live. Oh God, what's good, my brother?
What up, what up, what up? I say everybody coming into the building tonight, the Uncensored Truth Podcast. A few minutes late. We want to apologize. We had a few technical difficulties getting the program started, but nevertheless, we're here like we are every Friday night, and we're excited, man. You know, rocking out to the beats. My man Red 609 in Conway. Make sure y'all go on iTunes and check it out. But yeah, man, this is it, man. Prime time, the lights is on, and we here. What's good with you, Sam, man?
That's how we love it, man. Friday evenings, getting with the people, enjoying them. Make sure y'all drop your area codes right now in the building as you're coming through. But yeah, man, I had a great productive day. Couldn't wait to come over here. Going through the weekend, the holiday weekend, man. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You feel me? Happy 420 to everybody out there. You heard? Indeed. But yeah, man, excited about tonight. Real light lineup. But we're gonna get with the people. We're gonna bullshit and party and do what we do, man. So salute to everybody in the building right now. But what's good with you, old guy?
Oh man, I'm just excited to be in the building, man. We're gonna bring a couple brothers on tonight to kind of switch it up. You know what I mean? Brothers that work in the background with us, brother Darren Marion and brother Kansu momentarily. But I'm doing good, man. Peace to everybody in here. As y'all coming in tonight, drop them area code. I see the 609 already getting
Jersey's in the building. Let's work.
504 in the building tonight, 2534. Oh, that's 42. I'm saying 42. That's 420, but 305 in the building, 617 in the building. Let's get it, man.
Indeed, 504-602-480. Indeed, what it do? Savannah, Georgia was good. Game clout chasing hard. Oh shit, here it goes. We're gonna have to talk about it. That's not where we were going, but that's what we're gonna have to talk about, man. 619-510, the Bay Area. We always love you. Indeed, 504-903-Peace, 773-214-602-828. We for the people this evening, man. 818 LA is in the building.
Yeah,
we might have to come out to LA soon, man.
We're gonna be out there for the
you gonna tell them? I mean, shit, man. Go ahead, man.
BET Awards. We'll be out in LA. You know what I'm saying?
And we're gonna work, man.
Yeah, we're gonna work, and we'll be out there. We'll let the people know exactly, where we're gonna be. But if you're gonna be at the BET Awards, we'll be out there, getting some media coverage and doing our 1-2s, definitely.
And it's definitely time, oh God. It's time for us to really start expanding this brand we got going on. Yeah. We see the people we're receiving the love, and it was time for us to get our asses up out these chairs and really start touching the people. And we're gonna start at the BET Awards, man. I think what is it? Late June. I know that.
Right.
Getting everything lined up now, but we're really excited about that.
Red carpet.
Yeah, we're doing all that shit.
All right.
Not playing no games, man. But we see 253 in the building.
Yes, sir.
The Valley is where it's at, man. I used to live in the Valley. I had some real bad times out there. But we love LA.
Right.
Indeed, man.
No doubt, man. So pretty much on the agenda tonight, man, we're gonna talk about quite a few things, but I want to talk about the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And see that somebody came in the chat room, said the game is clout chasing hard, but he pretty much talked today about how the late Nipsey Hussle, encouraged him, to put his difference to the side with Meek Mill. A couple of years ago, they had a real heated beef.
Yeah.
That escalated to the game coming to Philly and just putting on a spectacle. He came and acted like he went to Max's cheesesteak in North Philly, and he went to Geno's and all that. It was memorable time for me and hip hop and whatnot. But he came out today and pretty much said then he got out of jail in the midst of everything he was going through the day. He called me. He said he'd been thinking about me in jail. He said one of the first things he wanted me to do when he got out was put our differences to the side. So that's the game. He said, so we did. I called you. I told you. I could hear you smile through the phone before saying, told you, Chuck, we could do so much more if we're unified in this shit. Your heart, bro. Your heart always pure, always solid, always, my brother, feel his energy. So that's dope. Again, I thought it was really some sucker shit, the way it went down with that. I thought it was a publicity stunt with the game at the time coming at Meek Mill because the stuff he was saying just wasn't true. Nobody could substantiate some of the stuff. And then he was frauding, acting like he came to North Philly and he really didn't. And it was just a lot of people say that about the game that he's real good at when it's time to put out his album. And ironically, he was putting out his album at the time. He does a lot of gimmicky stuff. But one thing I will say is this song was fire. When they had the battle, I think that lyrically I could say you can edge it out to Game. You know what I'm saying? Because Meek said he wasn't really feeling it, like he didn't really want to, whatever. You know, but you know, I thought it was kind of corny. But what do you think about this though, man? Him pretty much saying Nipsey Hussle, you know, encourage him to unify with Meek and put that petty shit to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna break this down into two different categories. So in regards to what he said about Nipsey, it almost just confirms everything we've already been hearing about Nipsey and everything that you continue and we continue to learn about this brother through his untimely death. I mean, the like you were talking about prior to us coming on, the more and more you start digging into conversations, even as a young boy, you realize that this man, this child, even when he was young, is a genius. And there's something special about him early on, and people started really identifying with it. You heard it in people's words at the funeral, and it just went on and on. So I believe Game when he says that Nipsey went up to him and told him to squash that shit, maybe knowing it was for show. Like, yo, chill that shit out. That's a real dude. That's a good dude. Cool out. Don't go there with that. And then obviously when Meek went through his real situation, whether you think that Game may have ran on a time to get into the limelight again, because it just happens, it falls right into play. But now he thought that was the time to have a change of heart. He hits Nipsey up, and all of a sudden, now, you know what I mean?
So you don't think that's clout chasing for him? You don't think that the Game is clout chasing at this point? Because I remember at first you came out, especially with the Kodak Black situation in Lauren London, you came out blatantly and said, look, this dude's clout chasing with this. He's trying to, you know, do whatever, you know, get his name out there. So what do you think about this situation now?
It's clout chasing all day. I agree that I believe Nipsey Hussle said that to him, but that doesn't mean or take away the fact that I believe he's still out here running and grabbing attention for sure.
Yeah.
Now his dedication to Nipsey, I appreciate all that, because obviously he's on the hearts of everybody still, and all that's fine and well. Does it even strike you that he didn't talk at the funeral?
It kind of did.
Why not?
I mean, because it seemed, I don't know what reason he didn't speak at the funeral, but you seen guys like YG, Snoop, and stuff up there. I thought that he probably would, but you know, for whatever reason he didn't. It definitely was a little odd that he didn't, but stuff happens.
Did the family not want him to? Snoop was up there. It wasn't like they didn't want rappers. YG went up there.
I can't.
Mustard was up there.
I can't answer. Maybe it was just limited slots and he wasn't, you know, in their plans to go up there.
Well, you would think the way he's talking about him and the way it's hitting him hard that he would have been somebody up there to just.
Well, I don't want to, you know, like hinge his whole relationship on the fact that he didn't speak, because I hear that they go back about 10 years and obviously they was cool from the same city and whatnot, even though it's different sides, you know, the color spectrum. But I don't want to, you know, I don't want to bring it down to this, that it was probably a lot of people that wanted to speak who didn't. But I was kind of surprised that the Game wasn't up there. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of struck me as being odd, especially just the way he was grieving online. It just really was surprising to me. But you could look past that. That's cool. Is he really out here clout chasing right now every day, looking for some attention? Hell yeah.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. And I took a lot of flack for that. I said it about T.I., even though I feel like he's genuine. I said it and I mean it. I'm going to say the same thing about Game. It is what it is.
They was getting at you about the T.I. joint, and, you know, they was, because of Kodak Black, they was like, he was defending Kodak. And then right after that, he got arrested. But that is what it is.
I'm not about them defending Kodak. How was I defending Kodak? Didn't I say a million times over and over and over again, he needed to be checked for that? Didn't I say that? So how was I defending him? Yeah, my approach would have been way different. So I disagree with the approach 100%.
No doubt.
And that's just my thing. What y'all thinking in the chat room? You looking in there? What's going on in there right now? Shout out to everyone in there right now.
Yeah, we got my brother Darren Marion already, you know what I'm saying, in the building, man. We're going to rap, you know what I mean, tonight, you know, about a few different topics. But yeah, that's, you know, that kind of is what it is, you know, as far as with that. Rest in peace to Nipsey. Still ongoing, you know, story there, even though a lot of people believe that it's just cut and dry. Me and brother Darren talked in the background about it. We haven't all talked together about the Nipsey situation, you know. So I guess I'll start off with that before we get deep. What do you brothers think about that? You know, Darren and brother Consul, what do you think went down with the Nipsey Hussle situation? You think conspiracy is too far-fetched, or do you think that it was just some, you know, some stuff that happens in the hood all the time?
Yeah, I think that, man, it's conspiracy. It's a far-fetched, man. It's you know, conspiracy. People who use conspiracy theories, man, or look at conspiracy theories, are people who are looking for hope in something. And generally, as Black people, we're looking for hope in something. So we're usually the ones that's gonna fall forward or fall into conspiracy theories. I mean, we still think Pac's alive. We still think Biggie's alive. You know, I mean, come on, man. You know, it's. I think it's the fact that, you know, this guy was in a gang. He never denounced the gang. and gang violence happens. And he was a victim of gang violence, you know, in the hood. So,
Brother Kansu, peace to you.
Yo, what's up, man? What's happening to everybody out there, man? Yeah, that's a good question, man. In my opinion, I do differ from my brother Darren. I do believe it was a conspiracy. However, not an extreme conspiracy, not a governmental conspiracy, a neighborhood conspiracy. I mean, anybody that's been affiliated with gangs, I come from that environment and that lifestyle, and it's definitely an organized, secret organization that operates similar to what the mob does, and any other organization that perpetuates psychological control. And this is also a religion. A lot of people take gang life very religiously and believe in it, just like if you was going to a Christian church every Sunday. So a lot of people, they do a lot of things on behalf of that culture and don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. They feel like it's just. They feel like it's necessary. So on the flip side of that, though, Nipsey, being very brilliant and cognizant of what he was doing in his environment, he knew what time it was. I mean, he tweeted what he tweeted. Powerful enemies is a blessing. You don't say that off the cuff. So he already knew what time it was. And, you know, me living in Chicago, even though I've established businesses and I moved on, when I walk out in the street, man, I keep my head on the swivel, yo. Because sometimes you can apologize. That don't mean you get away with them. If you do somebody dirty, man, they're going to come with the shovel and the dirt. So sometimes it's your time. If you out there in the gang culture, guns, death, murder, drugs, all that come with that culture. And sometimes you become caught up in it. You try to get out of it the best that you can, but we got to realize that these hoods, quote unquote, that we get labeled with are things that we didn't ask for. We didn't ask to be in the gang. We had no options because our basic needs were taken from us and we're a byproduct of poverty. And one thing that motivated Nipsey, and you notice what happens to a lot of our great leaders, man, is poverty. Nipsey was impoverished. He lived in a neighborhood where there's little to no independent wealth. So him and his brother, they was motivated to be successful, wealthy people and businessmen. That's what motivated them to go through all the stuff they went through. Regardless of how the packaging looked, it still tastes the same, man. So yeah, you know, that's my 5 cents on that one.
I would, you know, have to disagree a little bit. I would have to say that, you know, looking at what I looked at, I've seen that he had a lot of issues, you know, with the city, with the LAPD, you know, and I would say that the enemies he was talking about wasn't even no street stuff. I thought that, you know, he knew what time it was as far as like the opposition that he was receiving from. I hate to use this word, but the so-called powers that be. He understood. I think he was probably it was reports that his life was in jeopardy even before, you know, a few days before at his video shoot. They needed extra security and whatnot. And I think he was doing a lot of things that not a lot of people in his position were, you know, are doing, rappers. You know what I mean? Vector 90, I think it is, and different things that he was doing in the community. But and then you look back at the COINTELPRO. You look at that, you look at what they said, how they didn't want black unity, and talking about him bringing the gangs together. It could have been to me, I was even thinking maybe possibly the gangs maybe got nervous because they thought it was maybe treasonous that he was going to talk to the police and whatnot, and maybe anything like that. But I'm like, nah, I think it's a little bit bigger than somebody just, you know, being mad because somebody called him a snitch or, you know, he didn't want his mixtape or something like that. I think it was just a little bit more. That's just me. You know, I don't want to take that off the table yet until we find out more, you know, from the situation. How do you feel? You know, what's your gut feeling on this whole thing now?
My gut feeling is it is really simple. When you look at a person who is taking money out of one pocket and putting it in another pocket, and those pockets happen to be people that are impoverished and put in situations where it's damn near impossible, if not impossible, to get out of. And this was systematically set up, and this has been proven throughout time. And you have a man who is in place, who has been from that gutter, who got out of that situation, who wasn't supposed to, and now he's motivating other people to do so, i.e. the jobs for the felons who come out of jail. They got the situations for them to kind of gain revenue in other aspects where they weren't. He has programs for entrepreneurs to go and gain other entrepreneurial skills and move forward in that. He owns the shopping store. Who knows what else he had planned going on? I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot what he had planned on buying.
Well, they were saying that
something.
he was, you know, from the projections that we seen, that he invested close to 200,000. He was on point to create 40,000 jobs. I don't know how true that is, but there's been a lot of diaphragms where he pretty much had his whole redistribution of wealth plan set up, you know what I mean, out there. So he was trying to do some big things. I'm not, you know, trying to put him on a level of a Martin or even a Malcolm like that, you know, because I know a lot of people got offended like that, but maybe modern day, I think he was about to do some real big things. So, I mean, you know
what I think, though? My bad to cut you off, Ogre.
I
I think a lot of people are afraid of change. And when we say we the next, and they just get so caught up and so aggravated, but you can't be afraid of change. Yes, there's going to be people out here in your generations that are going to be revolutionists, that are going to lay their lives on the line for their cause, and we got to remember them as such. So even though it's hard for a lot of people to go ahead and say, whoa, how dare you name this dude to a Malcolm? How dare you do this to a Martin? But with all due respect to a millennial and the millennials out who did not know anything about Martin or Malcolm unless they were told or taught through their parents, what did they do, them two men, that was equal to what Nipsey did as far as creating jobs for their community, creating business, creating that. So it is an equal balance in conversation when you talk to the people in this generation and next. And we shouldn't be so naive or so ignorant to the fact that times fucking are changing. And we got to evolve with the times. Now, we have to bring some of the old with the new, as always, because I think a lot of the old, just the values and just what we kind of came up on, to getting lost in today's age. I was thinking to myself, damn, can you be an old soul and still have an iPhone in today's age? Because it's just like this thing just distracts you and gets you so caught off of what really is important and what your balance is supposed to be.
Right.
It's insane. And can you remain or keep some kind of just real humility and just your feet to the ground in this kind of day and age? And I think when they start teaching things, and when Nipsey starts teaching things like that, I mean, it's ahead of its time.
Absolutely. And I do have the diaphragm. I was trying to actually, I sent it to you, Darren, if you want to look at that later, you brothers. It's a you know, it pretty much showed
impressive, man.
happened. Huh?
That's impressive.
You see
Yeah,
it,
I
right?
haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet. I've been trying to get a hold of it.
Man, that's impressive, man.
Right.
Let me find this online, man, and put this out there, man.
Yeah. When I seen it, I'm like, wow, like the dude was, and then I was watching some old videos on. I'm like, this dude was really, you know, a real intellectual. We kind of was really sleeping on who this dude really was when you really look at him. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah.
But I get it though, man. I don't want to believe that either. You know, after when it first happened, we was like, we didn't want to go that whole C word. We was like, no, we're not going there. But then the people just started overwhelmingly saying like, yo, this don't make sense. This don't make sense. This don't make sense. So
But that's what's so sad, man, is you think about like him looking at this chart and looking at how much this one man, how much in revenue, how much in overall GDP that he brought in, you know, that he was responsible for. Just one man. So imagine how many other brothers that get killed that had this same sort of influence. Imagine how much more that would increase. That the overall, the GDP, the value, of the jobs, all that stuff that the black community would have. That's crazy, man. This is insane.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, in ratio, and it's kind of unfair to try to compare eras. You know, back then, the Fred Hamptons at 21 years old, who organized over 3,000 people.
Word.
By the time he even joined the Black Panther Party, whose mother was affiliated with Emmett Till's mother. A lot of people didn't know that. He was only 21 years old. So for his era, he would be considered, you know, highly influential. When we talk about, you know, the things that Malcolm or Martin did, they would be influential for their time. So Nipsey deserves his honor and respect for his time. It's kind of hard to compare the two because Nipsey Hussle got Facebook, Nipsey Hussle got he got Instagram, and plus he was a rapper releasing music. Now his music helped fuel his independent endeavor. See, you know, Fred Hampton didn't have a #1 song or a Grammy-nominated album now. Malcolm didn't have one #1 on the Billboard charts. So you have to understand that per ratio, they all played their role in the history of evolution of mankind. You know, they just played and they just were very, you know, pragmatic, and they deserve honor and respect on all equal levels. I don't think there's nothing wrong with comparing Nipsey to Malcolm or Martin, or he's just that of his time because of he uses the tools and the resources to reach his people. So I think that's one thing to give him credit for. You know, I don't want him to be compared, but he does deserve the respect though.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to switch up a little bit because earlier today, me and my brother Darren was talking, and he was talking about the unemployment rate right now being at, I think he said 5.9% under Trump, which I'll let him explain it. Talk about that, Darren, the unemployment rate under Obama and Trump.
Yeah, well, it's the fact is, man, under Obama, man, the unemployment rate for blacks, man, was around 17%. Right now, it's under the Trump administration, man, black unemployment is at an all-time low at 5.9%. I mean, that's tremendous. If you imagine, you know, like the overall, you know, I'm all about what kind of economic impact, you know, putting people to work, bringing in income, what kind of how that can be the magnifying power of that, and how that is overall affecting the community, man. So if you look at it, man, number for number, man, outside of George Washington, where unemployment for blacks was at 0%, you know, it's a good rate, man.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Consu?
Well, you know, I actually agree with Brother Darren, you know, without being redundant. I think that's absolutely factual. It's just that because of the social, again, our United States president tweets on Twitter. And his reputation was judged because of what he said in tweets. And the mere fact, because we've had actors, I mean, Ronald Reagan used to be an actor in cowboy movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Terminator. He became governor of the state of California. So this is nothing new that Donald Trump's not qualified. It's just that because of the influx of social media, we're kind of forced to kind of judge people outside the paradigm that they're in. So Donald Trump, he might not be a likable person, but we are being exposed a lot more to him than your normal presidents. Ronald Reagan wasn't tweeting his opinions on a weekend whenever he felt like it. Donald Trump is doing it. Even Barack Obama didn't do that. So that's why this kind of, when Trump does do something, it's overshadowed because we're kind of in his personal life, you know, and he's very flamboyant. He talks out how he feels. You know, it started with George Bush Jr. He was the same way. So sometimes, you know, it rubs people the wrong way. And that's just the new era of politics. It's a new understanding of politics. You know, that's my opinion on that one.
You know, guys, I got to apologize to you, right? Because when I hear the word politics, my brain just goes in another direction. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, I don't think there was a politician on this face of this earth, a president or anything, that ever directly affected me to my knowledge. And maybe I'm ignorant in that, because the second, like I said, maybe a couple podcasts ago, the second I decided to put my mind towards what it is I wanted to do and get out of the mind frame that 9-to-5 job was going to provide for me the life and the wealth of my family and for myself that I so ultimately looked for, it wasn't until I looked inside myself and saw that I was like, all right, times are going to change. And then through that, I started learning about proper tax brackets and economics and how to manufacture a budget and LLCs and corporations. And I started gaining this wealth of knowledge. And it was an amazing thing to be able to walk and learn through this journey at the same time. And it really didn't matter who the fucking president was. I'm sorry. So maybe I'm ignorant in that. And I'm glad that unemployment rates for blacks are beginning to change through the new presidency, no matter if that was a reflection on Obama's era going into Trump's era, if that was all Trump put together, because I got an anonymous source that just hit me up that has something to say about the game and has something to say about this conversation too. Shout out to you, brother. I'll read them comments momentarily, but I've never been directly affected by a situation like this. And I hope that more blacks can kind of feed off of the inspiration that we provide throughout the little bit of media that we get to do, to just see that ultimately independence is the way to go. And no one can stop you from doing that the second you put your mind to it. That's just my opinion.
No doubt.
Yeah, I second that emotion, man.
Yeah, a third, man. A third, but you know what? They can certainly they can open up a nice way. They can open up a nice way in a policy standpoint. As a business owner, when they have a certain policy agenda that they want to push. Let's say if it's better corporate tax rates, then yeah, man, it's going to directly affect you as a business owner.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. So yeah, man. Dope. What do you brothers think? Coming up, man. We was talking earlier. I was on DarrenBlurPlanet.com. We were just kind of talking about entrepreneurship, and brother Darren, you was talking about a laundromat. You know what I mean? So let's talk about some practical things people could do who, may be in a 9-to-5 rut, and may just want to they have a talent and they want to take a step out to do it. Let's talk about that. Like, 'cause I know we got a lot of people who say, look, I want to do this, but I'm kind of scared, or I don't want to fail, or this, that, or I'm comfortable at my job. Any one of you brothers can, speak on that.
Yeah, definitely. As far as entrepreneurship, just gaining an understanding of what an entrepreneur is. Entrepreneur is a free market investor. That's the first thing, because in order to be an entrepreneur, I would suggest gaining just minimal, but gaining an understanding of economics, understanding supply and demand. Like when you sit down and ask yourself, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. What do you want to market and sell? What service and or good? And I mean, literally write this down. What do you want to market or sell? What supply or what demand do you want to supply? What is in demand? And you just feed that supply. And in understanding economics, you start understanding competition, you start understanding scarcity and other terminologies around economics to make you an efficient entrepreneur. Because a lot of times what happens, a lot of people, they become entrepreneurs and they just own jobs. They're not necessarily doing something even, just like Nipsey. You create an environment that empowers those around you is truly an entrepreneur. You're thinking as a conglomerate. So as an entrepreneur, you're really not a grassroots entrepreneur until you employ people. When you start employing people and you start dispersing wealth per capita, you're actually managing wealth. You're actually going into the management sector, as opposed to enjoying and being an operator or an owner-operator. There's a totally different paradox. And sometimes owner-operation gets confused with entrepreneurship. So kind of learn economics and learn how to be actually independent and actually empower others and have them do the same, with you. That's really changing the economic, surround your economic environment around you.
I know when we were talking earlier, I was saying that, they look at providing a service that Black people use. That's something that we have a direct impact. If you know that if it's hair, then find a way to provide hair. If it's hair grease, I mean that's what put us on in the first place. That Madam C.J. Walker, man, she was one of the greatest entrepreneurs ever, and that she found that she started making money because she didn't go outside to try to reinvent the wheel. She went to see what we needed and provided those resources. So if we see that, for example, that a lot of Black folks are unbanked, well, then you know what? There's prepaid cards out there that you can have affiliate relationships with. You can sell prepaid credit cards or prepaid debit cards and get paid by the organization. That's a business. You're providing a service to other Black people. Laundromats. If you look at them in the neighborhood, how many Black people need to get access to laundromats? Why not provide that service? How many Black people need to get access to groceries? Why not have set up a fruit stand? Vernon Johns, who was he was a pastor at Dexter United Baptist Church before Martin Luther King. He set up food stands and all that stuff to really start to to show Black folks how that we can provide for ourselves by providing the products that we use every day. Not the thing where, hey, if you bring 4 people on, you get to be a vice president. There's no real service or product. Something that is actually that's tangible that we use.
Yeah, I want to when you brothers could explain, history in this country, because even our grandfather, the people that came from the South, it seemed like they had a different mentality. They came up, they had land, about 3 or 4 houses. I mean, they had to work and all of that, but they just had a different mindset. It didn't seem like we kind of, abandoned the entrepreneurial spirit and pretty much walked in and got ready to go work at factories or go work at these different corporations. What happened? How did we lose that? Because coming up, every other nationality that I seen, whether it be the Chinese store, they're in there, they have their children, they're doing their homework, but they sweeping the floor. When they get older, they on the register. You see, the white dude, their dad got a landscaping business. And when they're in high school, now they started working at the landscaping business. And we're told to just go to college, go to school, and go work for somebody. What happened to where, of course, we didn't lose it all together, but what happened to where we have so many people going into the work sector as opposed to creating their own opportunities and jobs for other people?
Scarcity of resources. Once industrialism took a dip and it affected the overall GDP of our people because, we were the steel workers, we were the millers, we were the farmers, things of that nature. And we were very independent in it. At the rise of Booker T. Washington, who was actually funded by the Carnegie family. He was doing a lot of work through the Carnegie family. We were at the height of money per capita, especially when it came to insurance companies, funeral homes, and it's exactly what Darren was talking about. We were supplying our cultural needs. We were supplying our demographic with grassroots needs. As we started dispersing and integrating and moving to the north, those needs started becoming washed in with other cultural needs. So it was hard to quantify what we actually needed as a group of people. So once we started doing that, we kind of started losing our ability to market a niche within our culture, basically niche marketing. And people like Madam C.J. Walker, man, brilliant at that time. Because back then, you didn't have access to like Google Trends and all that kind of stuff where you could do analysis on demographics. You had to have an innate ability to understand and relate to your people and the culture around you. And so we have to start getting back to those things and understanding cultural demographics. So it's real important that we kind of invest in our cultural needs as opposed to the general need. And that kind of speaks to what Sam talked about. I'll say this quickly about misunderstanding the role of the commander-in-chief of the United States. He's the commander of the executive branch. We don't really pay attention to local government like DARE and president's groups and local groups like libraries and things of that nature. We don't, or PTA groups. We don't invest in those things. We have to go back to invest into those things so we have a say-so and a play in our immediate community. Because that's really what's affecting us, is the grassroots communities, block by block.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. And I would think we were talking to bro Ankh maybe last Thursday, and this kind of conversation kind of came about. And I was talking about the importance of diet in our community. And when you go through our inner cities and stuff, what you see Popeyes, McDonald's, this, that, and thirds, nothing healthy, deep fried, Chinese restaurant, blah, 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 blah. And I was going through my produce market, grabbing what I needed to grab, and I seen a sign that said EBT accepted on here. And I'm like, God damn, what we need in the community, in these inner cities and things like that, is a produce market where these people can go ahead and grab healthier alternatives and can use their government aid to do so, because they'll sit there and have a EBT accepted at the Popeyes, but these brothers and sisters aren't giving their children the proper nutrition or themselves, and we see dropping like flies. We also need to start properly educating ourselves on nutrition, and whether you believe in eating meat, whether you believe in not eating meat, whatever you believe in, consciously start putting yourself in a situation where you know what's going in your body and what's not, because we're well-oiled machines. It's been proven since the day of time, and we don't fuel our machine the way we need to. We'll fuel our car with the most optimal gas we need to, because we don't put $40,000 on that motherfucker, $5,000 down, whatever. But we won't treat the same to this body that's going to be with us for the rest of our lives. We need to properly start educating ourselves in proper eating and proper dieting. And that starts with putting the proper avenues in the communities where they can have outlets to go grab it at an easier pace than 10, 15, 20 miles away, where realistically it's not going to happen anyway.
No doubt. Yeah. I want to talk about real quick Black wealth. Again, and talk about that, because we all know that the cliche saying is that after slavery. And I heard Diddy just talking about this too. He was talking about how pretty much after slavery, we had, I think 1% of the wealth of the country. And really now it's about maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, but it seems like Black wealth is not growing in the country, even though we see people like LeBron and Mike and, Steph Curry and all these guys and Jay-Z who seem like they're becoming billionaires, but it seems like it's not being redistributed through the communities like that. And we talk about the dollar, going out of the community within like 4 or 5 hours on a Friday, you get your paycheck and it's gone, as opposed to other communities like Jewish communities where they're keeping their dollar circling through that community all day. So how are we in this country and not gaining any wealth? And how do we do so to begin to build Black wealth? What's the blueprint for that? Briefly as possible, obviously.
Provide a product. Provide the products that we need, those immediate needs. Provide the immediate needs, because that's what's happening when something is only in your hands for 4 hours. That means you have an immediate need that's not being met. So go to that and try to catch that dollar right at that 4.5 hour mark.
Yep, it's all about isolated commonwealth. That money has to pass within a commonwealth at least 6 times so that the revenue can be recouped. So yes, isolated independent commonwealth that is ethnic based. It's targeted towards a certain ethnic group.
And it goes to show you like that if it's out of your possession that fast, that goes to show you that when you get your paycheck, you're on the bus company, you pay them, whether you're in a car, going to the gas, you're going to the Chinese store, you're going to the grocery, it's not owned by us. Everything is not only people that's getting that money is maybe the barber, the hairdresser, or the weed man or something like that. As far, you know what I mean? But as far as like the real institutions, even the doctors is going to all these other people, and then they happy to take our money. So that's why even what Nipsey was doing, man, he was buying up a lot. And our brother in the comment section even put he was investing in the casino.
That's what he was doing in Vegas. That's what I heard. Okay,
yeah. So it's just like, I mean, it's like, man, we got to get back in the communities, man, and start to get those like laundromats and things like that where people need to use food stores and get those going again, man. If we're going to start building wealth, that's excellent information, brothers. Definitely. Yes, sir.
Indeed, man. We all keep dropping them area codes in the building right now. You're on the Uncensored Truth Podcast live with your brother Old God, myself, Sam Ant. We got brother Darren. We got brother Khan Sue in the building right now, Indiana and Chicago, respectively. Y'all make sure y'all drop them area codes and salute in the building right now. I'm gonna get in this motherfucker chat room real quick because I ain't been in here all night and see what they talking about.
Right.
But my man, just to kind of recap on what we got going on, we were talking about the game earlier, throwing his daily dedication out to Nipsey, and a lot of people all just immediately started throwing out clout chasing, which wasn't the lane we were going to necessarily go, but I guess it just had to go into that because we got to call a spade a spade. Well, my brother dropped a comment and he said about Game, he ain't speak at the funeral, but made the video driving, crying when he went off. I mean, it's just a whole lot of attention. And you know how I feel about the social media thing. And I'll take the heat. I don't mind the heat. I embrace it because the one thing I always say,
people was hurt. I cried. I ain't gonna front. I cried over the shit. You know what I'm saying?
And
I mean, might think I'm soft. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you ain't soft for that.
Because we had situations personally where I was like, man, it reminded me of that so much. So yeah, I mean, I don't think so, Game, man. But go ahead.
But oh God, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the very big difference between somebody like you that shit was genuine and you ain't even know that brother,
right?
But it hit home. And you had to have your moment, as millions of other men and women had throughout this country and the world, I'm sure. Did you put it on social media? Did you ever fucking time, oh God, ever? And you got a social media platform, you got a personal one, you got Hip Hop News Uncensored. Did you ever for one second
that was the furthest thing from my mind? I don't want nobody, you know what I'm saying? That's a personal moment. You want to be alone and be like, just reflect and be like, man, it's a messed up thing. And then to see the family and whatnot and them grieving, we've been through the process.
So it's not fucking fun.
Right.
It ain't fun for them now.
Right.
It ain't fun. And you think about it today and age where you can't turn on your phone because they're seeing or hearing. You can't go on IG. You can't look at your Facebook. You can't look at your Twitter. Right. You got to go back to just maybe not even having a damn phone. It's totally different. So the fact that, I mean, I would and I don't know if we ever will, and with all due respect, it's none of our business, but I would like to think what the family thinks about a game in this situation. I mean, is it as genuine as he thinks, or is he putting on a show? I don't know.
Man.
It looks like one though, because anybody is just I don't know. It just wouldn't be all over the fucking phone like that. I wouldn't. That's my first thing. Now I know people, and we know people in our personal circles that are quick to go do that shit too. And I'd call them just genuine too. They just as fake as everybody else. And it's just it's a people love that fake Instagram world, man. They can't get enough of that shit.
Hey, brother Darren, did you get the update on the Ariana Grande and Beyonce Coachella thing? Because I started seeing that people were saying that they did get paid the same amount, but I'm not sure. I know you were telling me earlier that you thought Ariana Grande got
double, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I believe she got double, but I might be wrong, man. But that's what I was told, and that's what I read.
What do you think about that? I know you said you want to talk about that earlier.
Yeah, man. I think that I'm kind of mixed on it. At first, I was like, all right, man. Well, Beyonce deserves that amount of income. She deserves double, deserves the amount because she is Beyonce and she's the GOAT. But then you look at, or if not a GOAT in training. You look at Ariana Grande and you say, okay, kind of where is she at now? Does she have a hot record out? Does her out? She just dropped something, and what's her following, and how many people are going to actually come to see her because she just dropped that new album. So I kind of look at it, and I'm weighing it. I'm like,
she got a lot of followers. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, I could see that. I could start to see paying her more.
Yeah,
she's bringing people to the yard.
No doubt. Yeah, I just just wanted to I know a lot of people was talking about she should have got more and whatnot, but I think she had like the third, like Sam Ant was telling me, the third most followers in Instagram in the world at about what 200 something million maybe.
Probably. Let me look. I'll look as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we'll find that real quick.
It's crazy.
If you bring 1% out of that, you know what I mean. So yeah. Social media, man, is just amazing. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, Instagram, and what you could do with those different platforms, man. And people don't know, man, these are the guys, who do a lot of work, in the background, especially Brother Darren. He does SEO for the website, and it always brings a lot of valuable information with YouTube as well. He's always studying, reading things, and Brother Kansu, the business general. Like anything about business, taxes, he's always, so if you didn't know, now you know who these brothers are right here, man. Definitely.
Yeah, we love them, man. Behind the scenes, we get a lot of very expert advice in both of their respective fields. They really are a staple to what we got going on as we go through our entrepreneurial journey.
Oh, yeah.
I can't speak more volumes for them, man. We really appreciate you, brothers, for sure, and always appreciate your perspective and debate and good talk. I'm trying to find Ariana Grande, man, but I guess I'm not being successful. Shit ain't as easy as you think with 200 some odd million subscribers, because I can't find it.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick.
And as you do that, I'm gonna go chop in the chat room real quick, talk to these people. And shout out to everyone that listens to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. I seen somebody in the chat room as I breezed through that real quick. They said that Kerry Lathan was acquitted of all charges, or all the charges were dropped. Excuse me. I got slaughtered the last time I said acquitted instead of dropped.
Right.
But yeah, we talked about that yesterday, and you can check that out on this channel right here, the Uncensored Podcast official channel, or on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. Let me do
it's 151 million. This is the
151 million.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Damn, think about that. Let's do a survey real quick. Throw a 1 up if you follow the Uncensored Truth Podcast on either iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. If you listen to us on your phone as opposed to watch, just drop a 1. If you don't, drop a 2. Be perfectly honest. It's perfectly fine if you say 2. I just want to know why you don't. If you don't, is it because you don't have iTunes? You don't know how to do it? Reason I'm saying this is because if you're sitting here rocking with us right now, we need you to go rock with us over there on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. It's free. Everyone has a phone. And I can't tell you the amount of it's important. It helps us a lot. Getting on our social media platforms helps us a lot. The more we can branch off of this and branch into other platforms is very important. Not to say you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Brand standard. You heard?
No doubt. Okay. Yeah, they definitely, checking us out over there. That's what's up, man.
Dope.
I know a lot of people, they probably like, man, they rock with YouTube, you know what I'm saying? But, sometimes when you have work and all that, and I remember I used to work, I used to love to put something in my ear and just be able to listen to it. And YouTube would always burn a lot of battery. But if you listen to the podcast through the audio, it's perfect. So go check us out, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Uncensored Truth Podcast. We see you, Miss Beauty 856. in the building. Everybody in here tonight, man. Definitely. Yeah, it's free, right? It's free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's free. Okay.
Most phones have the app already installed on their joint.
Okay.
And Spotify, you can go grab Spotify app for free and download the content for free. Nothing is upcharge or anything. I see Strategy King drop the 2. I see Miss Beauty drop the 2, but she just found our channel. Salutes. Mr. Strategy King's always in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you. But why too, Strategy King, is that you just don't fucking feel like it or what? I just, you know what I mean? Definitely interested because we need get that following over there, man. And these 148 people, if they watching, listening, enjoying the content, and engaging, they need to be over there listening too, man, because we give a lot of perspective that we don't put on the YouTube platform over there for the listeners. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. But yeah, man, powerful, discussion, tonight. Any of these brothers, if you want to get in contact with these brothers, I'm gonna let Darren and Kansu go. Let everybody know who's listening, what your expertise is, and then how they can contact you real quick, please.
Right on, man. Darren Marion, Retail SEO, help business get found on the internet, man. So we do e-commerce, local SEO primarily. So that's what we do, man. You want to get in touch with me, man? Just go to retailseo.com.
Dope.
Yep, Kansu Sheshmarmoon, Aboriginal Consulting Corporation. I'm a financier. I'm a real estate investor. If you need help in business startups or real estate advice, real estate infrastructure, you can reach out to me at alberthiggins19@gmail.com.
Absolutely, man. We definitely always appreciate, what you brothers bring to the table. And anytime you can come on and drop, gems, these brothers are real high paid brothers in their profession. So anytime they come on here and talk, man, it's definitely, a blessing. And look in the chat room, you can see Darren's website right there. You can go check them out, retailseo.com. But yeah, man, that's all we pretty much got for tonight. Sam, man, you got anything else?
I don't got any much as far as content. I'm gonna read a couple comments real quick and answer some questions. Our man Antoine R. Irvin, I got y'all brothers on Spotify. Salute. But which one has the newest content? Well, that's very easily answered. I got you. We drop simultaneously. So as soon as we drop the content, it drops on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. It should drop simultaneously. So what I have noticed is because I have Spotify and iTunes, I check them both to make sure everything's dropping accordingly. iTunes drops a little faster. So if you have an iPhone, just go grab it on your iTunes app. It's very simple. If you do have an Android, you might have to be a little patient. See how fast Google Play works, because I'm not sure. I don't rock with Android. I'm not sure. We're going to do a podcast on 420 was another question. Well, you know what? We'll damn well be together for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, to celebrate the holiday. So we might throw the cameras on and rap with y'all.
We got to start doing that more. Doing a little media way. We got to start going live more on this channel.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? But we got something in the works. We're putting together another little set, not far from here. And so we'll be launching that real soon. So to look forward to that.
And also be on the lookout. We're going to start doing a lot of promotions. Shout out to my brother that dropped the cents to us. We'll be promoting his brand next. We'll do that next Friday when you come back.
Okay.
And
cool.
do that on there because a lot of great people are starting to ask us how to promote. If you want to promote or you're curious how to promote your brand or your product on the podcast, drop us an email, ogod@hiphopun.com, or myself, Sandman, at DLSMediaINC, the number 1 at gmail.com. I'll drop that in the chat room right now. Off of Viral's page, man. Yeah, but that's all I got.
Stephanie Davis put you're celebrating Hitler's birthday.
Who is
crazy? I don't know. That's what Stephanie Dukes put.
I don't even know what that is.
I called you out, Stephanie. See, and where's the lady at? What's her name? Beauty something. I see you now. Beauty something 856. I see it in here. But yeah, man, we appreciate it, man. Everybody listening in, to the pod. Oh, it's Miss Beauty 856. I see you there. Listening to the podcast tonight. That's your brother Sam, man, over there. He's the head of Viral Hip Hop News. I'm brother Oh God. Together we make Uncensored Truth podcast. My brother Darren Marion. The mastermind behind the scenes, Retail SEO. We out of here, man. You have a beautiful night and be safe.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.